So before you start on your podcast, right, do you have like a list of questions before you ask and all, or is it just completely free form?
Yeah, I think you all are familiar with that as well.
What's the format like? You're just asking them about their experience, their careers, their lives in general?
So normally what I do is it depends on who they are, but I will try and I don't know how to say this, consume their content
I see.
before they come on. So maybe like one
I
week,
see.
I just listen to, if they have YouTube videos or whatever, I just listen.
Yeah.
If they are like on Instagram, I just look at their stuff, whatever they've written or whatever, and I just kind of let it like marinate. And so it's either I talk to them about their lives or I talk to them about an issue related to whatever.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay.
And also I like if it goes somewhere else and we talk about something else. But again, like that's why I feel like there's so much, I can be so much better in what I do. Sometimes I see the flow of conversations later, like, oh, it could have gone this way, it could have gone this way. I could have built a more organic conversation, and then I miss opportunities, and yeah, that's the trouble.
That one is critique. It's very harsh critiques on yourself, I feel. But
Yeah.
I think the questions have brought a different dimension to our podcast in a sense, because there's a form of direction. So that when people listen, they kind of like, okay, got nuggets of information in the timestamps. So if people are there for that, it's there. You don't need to go through the whole thing. But at the same time, I feel like the organic feel is a bit less. Because now you have to go through questions, and I prefer to kind of like wing it.
Yeah.
But that's just my thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Because Joe Rogan does that, right? So I was like, wow, bro. If you look at the whole setup also, it's kind of very Joe Rogan-esque. So I'm like, oh, that feeling is there. And you know when you like you were saying about Alfred, right? When you kind of break down the guest, right? This room isn't really a podcast room. It's a confession room in a way, you know. People start to open up and shit like that. I'm just waiting for the first fucker to cry only.
Actually, honestly, I also feel the same way. I've always said this. I would really want to have a conversation with someone that really kind of like everyone really opened up and it really affected them.
Yeah.
There was one episode I really regret. It was my friend Samantha had come on, and we were talking, and then she was just sharing about some trauma she had experienced when she was a teen. Her grandmother, she had this really hardcore.
Grandmother.
Yeah, really bad. Like, and it really, really affected her. Like the grandmother like put a knife to her neck, kind of shit lah. Like it's really, really bad. And she had so much of mental health issues after. She had so many things she had to deal with after that. So she brought it up, and we were talking about it. And then I felt uncomfortable, so I just moved the conversation somewhere else. Then after I look back, I was like, ayo, it was such an opportunity to talk about something so personal to someone and deep. And she brought it up.
Yeah, she was willing to share.
I didn't like suddenly, even though of course I know about this thing, I didn't bring it up. She brought it out. So we could have actually explored that a lot more. So it's one of the things I like, yeah.
But I think what's so that's the bad side of things, right? What's optimistic about it is you are willing to introspect, right? Which is actually very rare and actually a bit painful to do sometimes.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Because you're essentially like looking for faults.
Yeah.
Something you've done very recently kind of hurts objectively.
Yeah.
But it leads to self-improvement.
Yeah, definitely.
So
and part of it is also is taking the time to say like, oh, that episode went well. And what did I do well in that episode as well? So it should be both. You should criticize yourself and like how do I
Compliment
improve,
on what you've done
and also
well.
affirm yourself and like how do I maintain or be better at that.
Right.
Yeah, some episodes I really enjoyed.
I feel like sometimes I don't do enough good in the podcast versus the whole mediation of the podcast, I feel. But there was a time, I think, Poige, right? I forgot who was the guest, but the guy was
He
already...
carried as fuck, man. He carried the team.
No, he got carried also, but there was one, right? I remember that guest also was going through a very sensitive thing, and then like Poige did something funny, and then it kind of like interrupted it, which was quite a shame, I feel. And that guest is quite a hard person also. I can't remember right now.
It depends. It depends. I think that was my problem with Samantha. My problem is I wanted to protect her.
I see. I
Right?
see.
And so that is not necessarily bad. But the question is, do you need to protect that person? Some people maybe you need to protect lah. They might say something they regret later. Like for my podcast, I don't cut anything. So it just goes up as is. So sometimes it's like you don't want them to say something that they regret later and ask to cut lah.
Right.
So you have to be kind of
You
discerning.
haven't
about
had to cut yet, lah.
only once.
Oh.
Once because he said something about his job, and then he called me after that, and he was like, "I'm really sorry, but I because it's a new job and they're not comfortable, so I could you really cut it out?" So I cut out a small clip lah where he said his job, where he worked. That's the only time.
I had to cut 4 times. Fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Fucking depressing. One is about same thing. Say something about the boss. The boss do something shady. Have to cut that one out. Then a couple of the podcasts is we did the whole podcast already. Okay. Right. Did the tattoo on the podcast also.
Huh? Then
He said the whole thing cannot be uploaded.
why?
quite controversial lah. Actually, at that point when okay, so a tattoo artist, right, has to go through like an apprenticeship. So you have to do like a couple of years that thing.
Really?
Yeah, you have to do apprenticeship
Not
because
even a couple of years, bro.
it's actually 5 lah.
It's 5 years.
I'm being very like nice about it lah.
Damn.
5 fucking years, bro.
And no fixed income. You only get per cut. So if you get a person that wants to do a tattoo with you, you get a cut of that because it goes back to the parlor.
What is this? What's the regulatory body that governs this?
It's the guy, but I can't say on the podcast because bro, this place, right, is so famous in KL, right? And they take apprentices so rarely. So he's only like 1 out of 2. So if I said it, I think they know already. And he said it wrongly because they do pay him, but they pay based on cut. So I think he kind of worded it differently.
Right.
Then after I did everything already, did timestamps, all that BS already, right? He's like, John, I'm sorry, man. I don't think you can post the podcast.
That's
I know."
damn painful, man. That's damn painful.
Yeah, it's a curse. Episode 96 is a curse. Yeah, it was him, and then it was the lawyer after that.
Yeah.
Then that one also she told me had to take it down. Nah, 96 is a curse.
Even when I recorded Aisa's episode, the moment we ended, my Mac because my Mac is old, 10 years, it just turned off,
Oh my.
I didn't even save it yet. I was like, oh my.
God.
And I was like, Aisa, it just turned off. I really hope it like auto-save lah. Normally it auto-saves lah. Then we were both like, oh my goodness, we just went through this freaking long conversation. And I'm like, she also like, please lah. Then I turned it on, luckily it was okay. It was there. I was like, but the moment even considering the whole episode burning, imagine the whole conversation gone.
I know.
It was so damn scary.
And it's a lot of effort,
Yeah.
Because people don't see it as that. People just see it as a video. But you don't see like the back end production of what you have to do, how to set up, and you have to connect all the wires, test it, see whether it works and all that shit.
Yeah, and you actually feel tired after that.
Yeah,
Dude, you have a 3-hour conversation, you're gonna feel tired lah.
Yeah. Actually, I had a 5-hour conversation last night.
Ugh.
Yeah, but it was over drinks lah. Then we were all high as fuck.
That's different, bro. That's different.